Hi, I'm Femi Okay.
And I'm Malika Bilal, and you're in the stream.
And this is Bobi Wine. He almost needs no introduction for many of you. Today, freed on bail and facing a charge of treason, Ugandan musician and MP Bobi Wine joins us live in the stream to talk about his hopes for the future and, of course, Uganda.
And you can be a part of this conversation too. Send us your questions for Bobi on Twitter at AJStream or to our live YouTube chat.
Bobi Wine, also known by his birth name, Robert Kyaguranyi Sentamu, has often spoken out against what he sees as oppression in his home country of Uganda. In recent weeks, he says he has come to know that oppression firsthand. On August the 13th, he was arrested by Ugandan authorities, detained in military barracks and initially charged with illegal weapons possession. Now, upon his departure from military court, he was rearrested and charged with treason.
Since his election into parliament last year, he has become a sharp critic of President Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power since 1986. As a musician, Bobi Wine's songs have called for political change and freedom from social injustices. His rise from poverty to Afro-pop stardom helped him build a large following among youth, with fans fondly calling him the ghetto president.
So, Bobi Wine, it's so good to have you here in the studio in Washington, D.C. We have spoken to you a couple of times. We had no idea that you would ever end up right here in D.C., but for not good reasons. I'm looking at some of your compatriots who were also in conflict with security forces, with soldiers as well. And I'm wondering if you can actually help us out and let us know what happened to them. Because this story isn't just about you, it's about what happened to some of them. Just looking here at an MP who relapses after being taken off life support machines. You'll see his picture there. Who is that? Tell us about his story.
Thank you, Femi. I'm privileged to be here, finally, physically. Like you said, this is not just about me. It's about very many people who are arrested with 33 others. The Honorable Francis Zake continues to fight for his life in a hospital in India. There are other little-known personalities, like a lady who had just had a baby by cesarean section, so beaten that by the time I left home, she was passing blood. The Honorable Paul Mwiru, who broke his hand, Atiku, whose back got permanently broken, and indeed a few others that had been brutalized even before the 13th, like the Honorable Namboze, who is permanently disabled. She sustained a broken skull. So this kind of brutality was only not new to us. Our case, we just privileged that attracted not only home attention, but attention the world over. And actually, that's why I take it upon myself every day, even against my doctors and family's advice, to try and make use of every opportunity to raise that voice and raise awareness of the brutality that's ongoing back home.
And it's much appreciated. We got a video comment from Rose Bell, a writer and blogger in Uganda, and she reminds us of the Arua 33. Have a listen to what she says.
I think it's very important to talk about political violence that happened in Arua beyond the figure of Bobi Wine. We need to know that there were 33 people charged in total, and among them there are 4 women. In the violence that they face, these women, some of them have broken pelvic bones. Many of them cannot walk. They are still in hospitals. So when we only talk about violence in terms of one person, then we fail to get the whole story of what happened. And it's important to continue to give solidarity to these people and to bring the attention of these stories of women. But what is very important is to know that often when women are caught up in political contestations, in that violence, their stories tend to go at the bottom of the pack.
So she mentions women being at the bottom of this pile when people think about those who are injured, but also she mentions the Arua 33, those who are also charged. What do you know about them and their cases?
Well, like I said, very many were brutalized, very many people were beaten. I've mentioned a few of them. If I was to mention all of them, we would maybe take most of the time of this show. There's another lady that cannot go off my mind called Sauda Madada. She's still in hospital in Kampala. Many of them are in hospital. But most importantly, I would thank God that Some are in hospital still fighting for their lives, and indeed I'm here speaking for them. But there are those that pay the ultimate sacrifice. For example, my driver, Yasin Kauma, the guy who took the bullets that probably were meant for me, he lost his life. He was killed by the security forces. And many others continue to be killed in what government claimed were riots, but indeed there were moves to, create more fear within the population.
You posted a picture of your driver, and it was so horrific we couldn't actually share it. We did a stream show very close to that incident, and you posted it so everybody could see. You saw that, and this is your reality. This horror, this violence, people, your friends, people close to you are dying. How do you then